Anas had always been curious about the universe. Ever since humans first met other intelligent species, he had been fascinated by alien life. But nothing had prepared him for his best friend, Zira, a being from the planet Lumara. Zira was unlike anything Anas had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly like liquid silver. Her eyes were deep pools of violet light, and her limbs moved with a grace that seemed impossible. And yet she laughed like a human. One quiet afternoon, as Anas and Zira floated above the sparkling river that ran through Lumara's capital, Zira paused mid-air and said, "My mother invited you over for dinner tomorrow. I hope that's okay." Anas froze. "Your mother? Me?" Zira giggled, the sound like tiny wind chimes. "Yes, she wants to meet the human who is my friend. She has never met one before." Anas' mind raced. He had been on alien worlds before, but meeting a parent, especially an alien parent, was something else entirely. "I don't know. I don't want to offend her. I don't even know how to greet her properly." Zira's smile was reassuring. "Just be yourself. She will like you if you are honest and polite, and don't worry too much about customs. She can explain them." That night Anas barely slept. He imagined dozens of scenarios. Would Zira's mother have tentacles? Would she speak in some kind of telepathy that Anas couldn't understand? He even considered showing up with a gift, but what would an alien parent even like? Morning came, and Anas found himself floating in Zira's personal sky car, which glided effortlessly above the floating city of Lumara. Below them, the streets shimmered with glowing pathways and hovering vehicles. Towering structures bent light in strange ways, and alien citizens of all shapes walked, floated, or flew along the avenues. "Don't stare too much," Zira said with a smirk. "You'll get dizzy." Anas tried to look casual, but he couldn't help himself. Every corner of the city was strange and wonderful. Some creatures had translucent skin with visible internal lights, others had dozens of eyes, and some floated as if gravity did not apply to them at all. And yet, life moved peacefully. He felt a strange sense of admiration. Humans had come a long way in space exploration, but here on Lumara, civilizations had been thriving for millennia. Finally, they arrived at Zira's home. It was a massive structure that seemed alive. Vines of glowing flora spiraled around the walls, and the building itself pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. The sky car landed softly on a floating platform, and Anas took a deep breath. Zira's mother emerged before him. Anas froze. She did not look like he expected. She had a vaguely humanoid shape, but everything about her was different. Her skin reflected the colors around her like a living mirror. Her eyes were golden and seemed to see right through him. And yet, there was something familiar in the way she held herself, the way she smiled politely. "Welcome, Anas," she said. Her voice was smooth, almost musical. "I am Zira's mother. I've heard much about you." Anas bowed slightly, unsure of what was correct. "It's an honor to meet you, ma'am," she chuckled softly. "You may call me Luma, and you may stand upright. Here it is polite to be relaxed." Anas relaxed slightly, marveling at the warmth that came from her tone. He had expected something intimidating, perhaps even incomprehensible. But Luma's presence was oddly comforting. Dinner was served in a large hall that seemed to float in mid-air. The table was alive in a way, shimmering gently as if it were breathing. Luma gestured to the floating seats, and Anas noticed that gravity seemed to adjust around each individual. "I prepared something special," Luma said. "It is common food for our kind, but I hope it is not unpleasant for a human." Anas looked at the floating dishes. The colors were astonishing, glowing softly. Some of the food moved slightly as if alive. He hesitated. Thank you. It looks amazing," Luma smiled. "Try anything that appeals to you. Our bodies adjust to new matter easily." Anas reached for a small orb that glowed faintly blue. He bit into it carefully. The taste was unlike anything he had ever experienced. Sweet, tangy, and almost musical. He laughed aloud. "This is incredible." Zira giggled. "I told you she is amazing. Wait until you try the main dish." Luma watched him with a curious expression. "You are brave, human. Many are cautious with unfamiliar foods." As they ate, Luma spoke of Lumara's history, its cities, and its strange customs. Anas listened intently, fascinated. He realized how little he truly knew about alien cultures. Yet despite all the strangeness, he found the conversation surprisingly easy. Luma had a way of making him feel welcome, even though they were worlds apart in every way imaginable. But as the meal continued, Anas noticed something puzzling. Luma moved with a subtle elegance that reminded him of humans. She gestured naturally, smiled in ways he recognized, and even laughed at his jokes. The more he watched, the more confused he became. He had expected her to be completely alien, but there was something in her demeanor that felt familiar, almost human. After the meal, they moved to a balcony overlooking the city. Luma gestured for him to sit. The glowing lights of Lumara reflected in the pools of water below, and the stars above were unlike any Anas had seen from Earth. "You are thinking too hard," Luma said, as if reading his mind. Anas blinked. I don't understand. You're amazing and kind and you seem familiar somehow, but I can't figure out why." Luma laughed, the sound echoing softly in the night. "You see, human, we may be very different in appearance, but hearts are similar across species. Curiosity, kindness, courage, these are universal. Perhaps that is what seems familiar to you." Anas pondered her words. They were simple, yet they carried a weight he could not ignore. Humans had always prided themselves on their adaptability and their empathy. Maybe that was what drew Luma's essence closer to him. Maybe in a galaxy full of wonders, the human heart was the most remarkable of all. As the night went on, Anas and Luma shared stories of their lives. She spoke of raising Zira, of the joys and struggles and the strange but wonderful customs of Lumara. Anas spoke of Earth, of its cities, oceans, and the dreams humans had of reaching the stars. The exchange was both enlightening and comforting. He began to see a universe not as a place of danger, but of connection. Finally, as the evening came to an end, Anas stood to leave. Luma placed a hand on his shoulder, a gesture that seemed natural, warm, and protective. "You are welcome here any time, Anas," she said. "And remember, do not worry about fitting in. Be yourself. That is enough." Anas felt a sense of gratitude unlike anything he had ever experienced. He had come expecting strangeness, maybe even confusion or fear, but instead he found warmth, understanding, and a glimpse of something universal. The bond of family, whether human or alien. As he floated back toward his own quarters, Anas smiled. He still couldn't figure out everything about Luma. Her appearance, her customs, even the way she moved, all were different. But he realized something important. Some mysteries were meant to be appreciated, not solved. And as he looked back at the glowing city of Lumara, he felt a strange sense of belonging. In a universe full of aliens and wonders, humans could still stand out, not by strength or power, but by courage, empathy, and the simple act of being true to themselves. Tomorrow, he knew, would bring new adventures, new misunderstandings, and new laughs. But for now, he carried with him a quiet certainty. In the heart of an alien mother, he had found a reflection of something profoundly human. And somehow, that was more amazing than anything he had ever imagined. The next day, Anas could hardly concentrate. His mind kept returning to last night, Zira's mother Luma, and the strange warmth she radiated. He kept thinking about how human and alien hearts could feel so similar, despite appearances that seemed worlds apart. Zira noticed his distracted state and nudged him gently as they floated above Lumara's glowing river. "Are you thinking about my mother again?" she asked, laughing. "I can't help it," Anas admitted. "She's complicated. I mean, she seems familiar, but in ways I can't understand. I feel like I almost know her, but I don't." Zira chuckled. "You humans and your need to solve mysteries. You'll see. She's not complicated. She's just..." Luma, Anas smiled, though he knew it wasn't that simple. He wanted to understand her, to see the world through her eyes, but every attempt only made him more aware of their differences. Still, he was determined. Later that afternoon, Zira suggested they return to her home. "She wants to show you something," Zira said, her eyes glimmering. Anas's curiosity spiked. He wondered what kind of alien demonstration awaited him. He followed Zira, flying through the city's luminous streets. The vibrant colors and unusual shapes no longer overwhelmed him. He felt more comfortable in this alien world, as though he were learning a new rhythm of life. When they arrived, Luma greeted him with her warm smile. "Welcome back, Anas. I have a small activity planned. It may help you understand more about us, and perhaps about yourself." Anas blinked. "Activity?" "Yes," Luma said, gesturing to the balcony. "It is simple. a test of understanding and empathy. Before Anas could ask more, she handed him a small, glowing sphere. This is a memory orb. It allows you to see and feel one of our memories. I thought you might like to experience life as we do. Anas hesitated. The orb pulsed softly in his hand. I don't know if I can handle someone else's memories. Luma's golden eyes sparkled. You are braver than you know. Trust yourself. He closed his eyes and let the orb guide him. Instantly he felt a rush of sensations, sounds, smells, emotions, so vivid that he gasped. He was inside Luma's mind, experiencing a memory from decades ago. He saw a young Luma caring for Zira as a child. The memory was full of love, worry, and patience. Luma was teaching Zira to float without assistance, encouraging her with gentle words and laughter. Anas felt the mother's pride and fear, the weight of responsibility, and the immense joy of seeing a child grow. Tears pricked his eyes. He realized that even though Luma looked alien, her heart and emotions were universal. She had faced challenges, raised a child, and loved fiercely, just like any human parent would. When the memory faded, Anas opened his eyes, breathing heavily. Luma watched him with a calm expression. Do you understand now? She asked softly. Yes, Anas whispered. I think I do. It's not about what you look like. It's about the love, the care, the patience. That's what feels familiar, Luma smiled. Exactly. The form may differ, but the essence is the same. That is why you felt a connection. You were looking with your heart, not just your eyes. Anas felt a rush of gratitude. He had come to her home expecting strangeness and uncertainty, but instead he had found understanding and warmth. He realized that humans were remarkable, not because of their strength or technology, but because of their ability to empathize, to connect across differences, and to embrace the unknown. The afternoon passed with laughter and conversation. Luma demonstrated simple Lumaran customs, floating games, glowing food preparation, and the art of sharing stories through light and movement. Anas participated eagerly, his confidence growing with each new experience. He stumbled a few times, of course. Gravity shifts weren't easy for human physiology. But Luma and Zira laughed kindly, never mocking him. At one point, Zira challenged him to a floating race across the garden terraces. Anas grinned, using every ounce of his human ingenuity. He calculated angles, velocity, and timing, relying on skills that humans developed on Earth for navigating complex terrain. With a burst of energy, he surged ahead, surprising Zira and even himself. Luma clapped, her golden eyes glowing with amusement. Impressive, human. You adapt quickly. That is why your kind endures. Anas felt a sense of pride. Humans might not have shimmering skin or multiple limbs, but they had determination, creativity, and courage. Even in a world of unimaginable alien abilities, a human could stand out by being human. As evening approached, the trio sat on a terrace overlooking Lumara's glowing city. Soft lights danced across the horizon, reflecting in Anas's eyes. He thought about the journey that had brought him here, from Earth across the stars to this extraordinary place. I have one last question, Anas said hesitantly. How did you know I would understand? Luma tilted her head, smiling gently. I didn't know, but I had hope. Hope that humans, despite being new to the galaxy, have something unique. Curiosity, courage, and kindness. I wanted to see if you could see the world through our eyes, and you did. That is all I could ask. Anas nodded. He realized that humans had a remarkable ability to bridge gaps between worlds. Technology, strength, or intelligence mattered. But the human heart, the ability to connect, empathize, and adapt was what truly made them extraordinary. Night fell, and the city of Lumara glowed brighter than ever. Floating creatures shimmered, streets pulsed with light, and the stars above twinkled in patterns unfamiliar to human eyes. But Anas felt at home here, not because the world was like Earth, but because he had found a connection that transcended appearance and species. Before leaving, Luma placed a hand on his shoulder once again. Remember, Anas, differences are not walls. They are windows. Look through them and you may find something unexpected. Sometimes it is a reflection of yourself. Anas smiled, understanding fully for the first time. Thank you, Luma. I won't forget this. As he floated back to his quarters, Zira beside him, he thought about how much he had learned in such a short time. Humans were often underestimated in the galaxy, seen as fragile or limited. But he realized that even a single human, with courage and empathy, could navigate alien worlds, build trust, and touch hearts in ways others could not. The adventure had started with uncertainty and hesitation. He had wondered about Zira's mother, about her appearance, her customs, and her ways, but he now understood that some things could not be measured by sight alone. True understanding came from patience, curiosity, and the willingness to see with more than eyes, to see with the heart. And as Anas gazed back at the glowing towers of Lumara, he felt a profound sense of connection, not just to his alien friend and her mother, but to the universe itself. Humans had a place here, not because they were the strongest or the fastest, but because they dared to care, to learn, and to embrace the unknown. For the first time, Anas felt the full weight of human potential, not in wars or inventions, but in understanding, kindness, and courage. And he knew that no matter how far he traveled or how strange the worlds he visited, he could always carry that spark within him. He turned to Zira and grinned. "Ready for more adventures?" Zira laughed, her violet eyes sparkling. "Always, but remember, you're the human now." "You set the pace," Anas nodded. He was ready, not just for the adventures of the galaxy, but for the endless possibility of connection, friendship, and understanding that awaited him among the stars. And somewhere in the heart of Lumara, Luma watched them go, a smile of quiet pride on her face. She had seen the human potential long before Anas had, and now he understood it himself. That humanity in its simple courage and kindness could shine brighter than any star.